Homeland is agent. I send the pestilence and plague into your house, into your bed, into your streams, into your streets, into your drink, into your bread, upon your cattle, on your sheep, upon your oxen, in your field, into your drinks, into your sleep, until you break, until you kill. I send the sword, I send the sword, thus saith the Lord.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Wow. Ooh, what a big step up. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, this is such a massive step up from the last episode. A lot of people say last episode wasn't that bad. A lot of people also say it was that bad. And regardless of what you think, even if you thought last episode was good, this episode, I'm going to rate this so high. I'll spoil the ending for y'all a little. Wow. When I think of an episode that is just truly like, this is the Mandalorian, this episode fits that thought process. Now, I have to tell y'all, of course, this is a spoiler review, as the rest are. The beginning of this, y'all, is such an awesome throwback. So just like we've discussed, actually y'all haven't seen it yet, so this Sunday my video is my Ahsoka trailer reaction and initial thoughts, but I finished that before this video, so hit the bell to stay notified for that. So we talked about it in that, but the Heir to the Empire trilogy of books that they're adopting for the Mandoverse, the Shadow Council is a part of that. And the Shadow Council is mentioned in the Aftermath trilogy of books that I read and I've talked about with y'all before. And we got a really awesome, I don't know if the word would be Easter egg, you guys, but General Hux, who is the one who gives the speech in episode 7 of Star Wars and fires Starkiller Base and kills billions of people in the Hosnian Prime system, and destroys, obliterates the New Republic. His father was the main guy in that Shadow Council meeting talking to Gideon. The Shadow Council was a secret advisory council that had been created by Fleet Admiral Gallius Rax in 5 ABY. Rax created the council in order to govern the fragmented Galactic Empire from behind the scenes while supporting an official figurehead in the form of Grand Admiral Ray Sloan. In secret, Rax planned to eliminate the Shadow Council during the Battle of Jakku, with the exception of Commandant Brindle Hux, whom he regarded as an essential to revitalizing the Empire. Now, Commandant Brindle Hux, y'all, was pulled straight from the Aftermath books and into the show in this episode. Rax revealed his plan to the Shadow Council during a meeting with Grand Admiral Ray Sloan to discuss rescuing Brindle Hux, the Commandant of the Arcanist Academy. Rax identified Sloan and Hux as prospective candidates for the Shadow Council. After the bounty hunter Mercurial Swift had rescued Hux and his son Armitage Hux, which is General Hux in the episode 7 and 8 and 9, Rax then convened the inaugural meeting of the Shadow Council aboard the Super Star Destroyer Ravager, which served as the flagship for Imperial forces in the Vulpinus Nebula. Sloan and Hux were joined by the Chief Informational Officer Farrak Abdur, Grand Moff Rand, and General Hodnar Borum. So I'm not sure if those last three people were in the Shadow Council. They didn't have names with subtitles on, but Commandant Hux did. So like we said, y'all, whether you like it or not, whether you like the sequels or not, what I think is going to be some of the best parts of the Mandoverse seasons is the connecting tissues that will make how 7, 8, and 9 did not feel like they had a lot of thought or plan about them really at all. I think this show, not only this show, I think the entire Mandoverse is going to make the randomness and the unexplains make more sense. And speaking of that, we see Hux walking past his cloning attempts and his successful attempts at making Beskar alloy armor. This was just such a freaking awesome scene, you guys. I loved it so much. And then, I don't know how else to explain this to y'all. In the Guardians 3 trailer and in the holiday special, what was so cool to me was just that the Guardians purchased nowhere. And I don't know how else to explain that. Like, it's not a badass action scene, which of course I love those, but for some reason to me that's just badass. So seeing the entire Mandalorian fleet assembled, I'm just sitting there grinning. I'm like, oh yeah, baby. It's not even an action scene. I just love seeing shots like that. So something we discussed in the last review was a lot of people want Din Djarin to slowly become the leader and unite all Mandalorians. But what they kind of established in the end of episode 6, not a lot of episode 6 mattered for the overall story, but the last fifth of it did. They gave Bo-Katan the Darksaber again. A lot of people weren't that okay with that, but I was thinking, I raised the point, maybe Din Djarin is the main character, but like that one YouTube video I keep referencing for some reason, where it's Din Djarin not knowing he's in the Star Wars galaxy for 6 minutes or whatever it was. Maybe it's going to keep that vibe, of Din Djarin is not going to be the Mandalore. He's not going to unite the Mandalorians. Like he said to Bo-Katan on that ship at night. He's loyal to her and is going to help her on the mission. And maybe those people are right. Maybe they'll still get their wish and Din does become the Mandalore at some point. But I also like Din's character development in this because he was willing to look at the other Mandalorians' ways of thought and understand that what he was taught was never completely true, which I appreciated very, very much. Now, as soon as Bo-Katan and her allies descended below the atmosphere of Mandalore, I got hella nervous, y'all, I won't lie. They were walking across the planet's surface. I was kind of hoping for a one-on-one conversation between Din and the armorer, but that did not happen. But we got this boat scene, and then what was really cool was we get about 15 minutes of dialogue where it's just both, or 3 now. Now it was 3 because of the boat fellas. 3 different groups of Mandalorians discussing what happened. I kind of want to know what Casca Reeves was going to say, but Bo-Katan raised a hand and made her be quiet at the dinner table. I thought that meant at first that Bo-Katan was lying to the entire group about how Gideon got the Darksaber to make them sympathize with her more, but I'm not sure, so I would have liked to know what Casca was going to say there. Also, y'all, I feel like Axe Woves is very different from Season 2. It was just like, in Season 2, he was very loyal to Bo-Katan, and that was like his only character trait. But they were making him a dickbag in this season for sure. And then this giant monster attacked. At first, I was thinking that it was going to be the Mythosaur. And I was like, oh shit! But it wasn't. It was this other thing. Also, I forgot to say this. So the armorer goes and takes Bo-Katan's ship back above the atmosphere and the storms to the fleet to take the injured Mandalorians from that pirate ship up for medical aid. I was holding my breath right there. I thought she was going to come out of the clouds and the Mandalorian light cruiser was going to be descending towards the planet on fire with the whole fleet destroyed already. I was nervous. I was nervous that she was going to come out of the atmosphere and that was already going to have happened. Then, because of this big monster, the Mandalorians retreat into the cave and they go down to their Great Forge, which was really, really cool to see. And then they got attacked by Imperial jet troopers in Beskar alloy. Now, a lot of people, this happened in Rebels 2, they had trouble understanding why main characters can get shot and live, but others wearing Beskar can get shot and die. So I want to explain that to y'all. Even if you're not a filthy casual, hang in there. So essentially what happened, they said Beskar alloy on purpose. So Din Djarin, when he found Grogu for the Empire during Season 1, the amount of Beskar he got rewarded was ridiculous because Grogu was worth a ridiculous price. And Mando's armor is so shiny because it is pure and fully Beskar from Beskar ingots. However, the Empire, as in Rebels, doesn't have enough Beskar to fully give every soldier full Beskar armor. And the same is also true for some Mandalorians, which is why all the way back in Season 1, Paz Vizla was very angry seeing how much Din Djarin was going to use all of his Beskar ingots for himself. So what's really interesting, I feel like a lot of people will be like, how come all these side characters are dropping but Bo-Katan gets shot in the chest right in the middle of the fight and she's fine? So the reason our main characters are fine, Sabine Wren during Rebels, is royalty in her family line, so she has full Beskar armor. Bo-Katan Kryze is the princess of Mandalore, so she has pretty much full Beskar armor. And Din Djarin, of course, hooked himself up. And so that's why you see a couple Mandalorians, not a couple, you see a 5'8" Mandalorians as well as the Imperial Jet Troopers with a combination of Beskar alloy mixed with other metals. That's why they're able to tank a few shots and then also die. And then y'all, the Mandalorians are tricked into chasing the Imperials further past the Great Forge. And I was nervous in this whole last half of the episode because they chase them into this massive open air canyon. And you realize that where Moff Gideon was broadcasting his Shadow Council from was that he never left Mandalore. Or that he knew, of course, since he's the one that purged the planet during the Purge of Mandalore, he knew it wasn't actually cursed. Now it makes even more sense why Mandalorians that returned to the planet couldn't go and say, oh hey, it wasn't a curse. The Dark Trooper, Imperial Moff Gideon, has been there operating and building his forces since maybe even before the end of season 2. I feel like every time we get more Star Wars projects, they have new Imperial or clone armor that's just so badass. These Imperial Jet Trooper men with Beskar armor, it's such a cool look. So the Mandalorians get trapped and we get this really badass conversation between Bo-Katan and Gideon. And also, Mando gets captured, and what was crazy about this, Gideon has a vendetta against Mando because he let his troops kill the 2 to 3 other Mandalorians that got trapped on that side of the wall with Mando. He let them get dropped. I wanted Mando to use Whistling Birds so bad, but he got disarmed before he could maybe. I was like, fuck, no! And then Bo-Katan gets told by Gideon to give him the Darksaber again, but after that story she told the 3 groups of Mandalorians during the halfway point of the episode, they all look at her, and even though the odds are all against them, I feel like that you don't hear anyone say it, but all of them were like, don't you fucking do it. And she didn't. And she cuts the hole and they're all escaping. And then Paz Vizla, he decides to hold everyone off. I was just like, why'd you do that? No. And not in like a bad writing way, just he kills so many of the Imperial Remnant forces, even with their Beskar alloy armor, that his gun is about to start melting apart. And then when it is basically destroyed, he drops it and kills 3 more Imperial Jet Troopers. And then, y'all, we see a character walk onto the screen. And at first, I was angry. I was like, you bastard. I thought it was Gideon walking back into frame after Vizla was tired to finish executing him. And then the camera pans out, and just as the leak said over 8 months ago, 3 Praetorian guards walk up. And as it panned out to show the other 2, I was like, oh no, out loud. And sure enough, Paz fights them bravely. He doesn't say a word, not one word to say. He just fights with all he has until he can't fight anymore. And what I was scared about hearing Gideon say while all the Mandalorians were trapped in that room for the bombers and interceptors to go and destroy their fleet, it panned to Paz Vizla, and this was setting up his death scene. So it pans to Paz Vizla, and he never shows his face, but as soon as it panned to him, I was like, oh shit, my heart dropped even more, because I was thinking, while they were all still trapped in the room, that Gideon was going to succeed in destroying the fleet, and it would be one of those, it would be like an opposite of the Lion King, where instead of Mufasa dying with Simba living, it would be the son dying and Paz having to live with that. But instead it sets up the more Lion King style, where I was so sad to see Paz go, but when you really think about it, he is so into the idea of Mandalore uniting with all the stuff different Mandalorians said to him throughout this episode, and just his entire demeanor and attitude throughout season 2 and season 3. Man, I feel like Paz died just for the chance that his son could get to live on Mandalore and just live a happy life and be safe. Oh, wow. This was such a good episode. I didn't tear up in this, y'all. I'll admit it. I'm a pretty emotional person when it comes to these stories I love. I was going from super happy and grinning about different things in this episode to nervous and like, oh shit. But that means it's a good story. I think we're gonna get a scene in the finale, ladies and gentlemen, where Din gets back to the Mandalorian forces he's rescued. I feel like he's gonna have to break the news to Ragnar Vizla that his father is dead. I'm just imagining Din taking another foundling into his care, because maybe Ragnar has a mom in the clan, but maybe he doesn't. And I wonder if Paz and Din didn't get along a lot, but I wonder if Din, like he said in this episode, he cares about honor, respect, loyalty. I'm sure that Din is going to say something to Ragnar and maybe keep an eye out on him for the rest of the show. I also thought this one guy might be Corky Kryze, y'all, but I think Bo-Katan would have said something. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I can't show a picture because I'm going to put this video out Wednesday, of course, and this is just an extra. But if you've seen the episode, you know what I'm talking about. I thought this guy might be Corky Kryze for a hot minute. I also think where you may still have hard-ass people who don't like the sequels. And again, I'm not judging y'all. They have a shit ton of work to do to make the sequels make sense. I just wanted to say, though, I do think they took a little heat off of the sequels by making Praetorian Guards something from the Imperial remnants, rather than just First Order. That might not make sense to everyone. I think, again, that's one little thing they can do that makes the sequels look less bad in a lot of people's eyes. But all in all, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to go with a 9.9 for this episode. Solely because I didn't do reviews back in Season 2, but I think Season 2's finale would be the perfect 10.0. As well as some of the original episodes of Season 1 that I think of as this is what I define of mentally as the Mandalorian. This episode is a 9.9. I think without going through all the episodes of the first 3 seasons, I think this is in top 5 episodes of the whole show. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what y'all think in the comments. This episode was freaking awesome. It was so freaking good. Its rating is twice as high as the previous episode. This is amazing. Like the video if y'all like the video. Hit the bell to stay notified for more. There will be an Ahsoka trailer reaction this Sunday. The next video will be a Season 3 finale review. And y'all, the Jedi Survivor playthrough's coming up. I'm so ready to experience that with y'all. I want to thank you all again so much for the support. I feel like with how much school is crazy, sometimes I don't think about how lucky I am that I even can break double-digit views on videos, which I know might not seem like a lot to y'all, but this is a passion project, so truly, thank you all so much for your support. I am so excited to see where this season ends, and also very, very, very nervous for Mando, for Bo-Katan, for Ragnar Vizla. We shall see what happens, y'all. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.